looks like 3D, man. Hey, remember back when like Avatar came out and then suddenly every movie was in 3D? Well, I remember a time back in the 80s when all sorts of stuff was in 3D. I mean, we got Friday the 13th, Part 3, 3D. We got Jaws 3D. We got Amityville 3D. But here's a movie that was made to basically just capitalize on that. This is Treasure of the Four Crowns. Treasure of the Four Crowns is a movie from 1983 starring no one you've ever heard of. It's an Italian, Spanish, American co-production. Part of it is kind of a rip-off of like Indiana Jones kind of stuff or Raiders of the Lost Ark, treasure hunter kind of guy, ancient magic and artifacts. But then like the second half of the movie is more like a Mission Impossible thing or an Ocean's 11 or something, and then the very end of it is fucking batshit crazy. Anyway, Treasure of the Four Crowns is really just an excuse to throw a bunch of stuff at the camera in 3D and make you go, wow, look at that, ooh, wow, there's a fucking arrow coming at me right here, or there's a fake looking bird coming at me. It's like I've never seen a movie so packed with intentional 3D gags. Like, it's barely a movie, but it's really just a 3D spectacle to be viewed with your 3D spectacles, which when I ordered this DVD conveniently came with these, and I watched it on the what do they call it, the anaglyphic 3D format. I mean, I got a lot of the 3D effects and a lot of the shit popped out at me like it was supposed to, but it was really weird watching this movie. Didn't come off quite as well. I mean, because I'm sitting 10 feet from my TV and I don't got that big of a TV. I think it was actually made for like stoners in 1983, and I watched it stoned, so mission accomplished. Actually, in 1983, nobody else wanted to go see this with me because I guess they realized just how fucking cheesy and stupid this whole movie is. Basically, just a bunch of 3D gags and 3D set pieces, all strung together in this ridiculous story that makes no sense. Like, the whole thing is supposed to be about the Four Crowns, of which we only actually see 2, I think. Good guys have one and the bad guy has one in his fortress. And the beginning of the movie, the guy, the treasure hunter guy, I can't remember his name, it's some cheesy dumb name, I just looked it up, J.T. Stryker. Couldn't get any more American than that. Yeah, like I said, this is a Spanish, Italian, American co-production. Most of it was shot in Europe in like castles and stuff, and all like European, Spanish, or Italian actors. They're all okay, I guess, but I mean, all their voices are dubbed, and yeah, anyway, the movie opens with the guy like going through this castle, and he first of all, he has to get past like killer dogs and killer birds, some of which of course fly out the screen at you, arrows from like Indiana Jones type arrow traps, and ghostly crossbows and spears and swords come after the guy while he's trying to rob the grave of, I don't know, some knight or something like that. And inside the grave there's like a key that he has to get, and with this key he has to go to one of the first crowns and unlock something that unlocks something else that turns into like this weird ass, like, I can't even explain this to you because it went by so fast, and like the exposition made no sense at all. And who cares? It's just an excuse to throw a bunch of 3D shit at you. So don't blame the movie for that. They know the audience they're after. So that's like the first half of the movie. It's this guy getting this key. and then he goes to like see other guys that have one of the crowns, and they unlock something in the crown, and it leads to another thing, and then they decide that they have to go and infiltrate this like bad guy villain cult leader. They have to go to his place and break in there and get around the security system and all this shit, and climb on the roof. And there's like 40 minutes of like fucking people climbing on the roof, and I gotta say, it's not terrible. It's it's exciting action because there's so much shit like popping at you, and like, people like falling, and spears shooting at you and shit. Our main protagonist guy, he makes it there, and he gets to the altar of the crown, and he gets around the security system and all that shit, and then he gets like possessed by the spirit of the crown or something, and his like head spins around, and he shoots fucking lasers out of his eyes or something, and breathes fire, and fucking takes out all the bad guys. And this bad guy, this villain that they set up for the whole movie, gets like 2 minutes of screen time. I don't know what to say, man. Smoke a big ass joint before you watch this movie. Otherwise, you're not going to appreciate this at all. It was kind of neat seeing all the shit popping out of the screen. Yeah, it's 3D. It was cool. I mean, this was cool in 1983. I wish I'd seen it back then. It's an artifact of its time. Don't forget to get a pair of these, man. Because if you don't see it in 3D, don't even bother. Now, I'm going to give a special shout out to my friend and fellow YouTuber Al from One Flight Down, personal friend of mine, known the guy for years. He kind of recommended it to me, or he mentioned that he wanted to see it. So sorry, Al, I didn't wait for you to view it with, but it's a hell of a movie. I think you would get a good laugh out of this, just because of how stupid it is. Cheers to One Flight Down. And I'm going to, of course, put a link in the description, when I figure out how to do all that stuff. Oh, yeah, so I guess I got to give it a letter grade, right? Because I do that. It wasn't a complete waste of time, so I can't give it an F. I can't even give it a D. It's in C territory. Let's call it a solid C. It's not the worst of the early 80s 3D movies that I've seen, because it has like tons of 3D in it, and the 3D looks good, but the story itself is so dumb, and I can't give this anything higher than a C. It's not even a C plus, not even a like, hey, you tried, you almost had a good. No, they didn't come close to having a good movie, because you didn't want to make a good movie. You just wanted to make a movie with a bunch of shit popping out of the screen, and like, and for all the stoned teenagers to go, whoa, man. And I guess you did that, but you weren't shooting real high. So yeah, let's give Treasure of the Four Crowns a C. And to all you folks out there who've recently liked and viewed and subscribed and all that great stuff, thank you very much. And until the next one, not necessarily in 3D, have a good one, everybody.